All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Alright, so as you can see, it says National Guard and police checking bags at Grand Central Subway Station in New York City. Now, if you kept up with the news for maybe, I don't know, the past 2 years about New York, you know one of the most terrible things about New York is their subway. In their subway, there's a lot of high crime and assault that goes on, right? And of course, Evil E could have easily solved this situation without trying to do this check bag thing with the National Guard. But instead, Evil E let it get to a boiling point, and then they enacted the so-called police state, also known as the National Guard, to start checking bags. Right? This goes into the technology of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. KJV. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on the right hand or on their foreheads. Right. And what's going to happen is this, when the mark of the beast or the sea-hip starts making its rounds and people start getting lenient to it and start giving into it, it's going to be a form of, there's not going to be any privacy. So Evil E is kind of getting you used to having no privacy, right? I want to show a video here.
To a national digital. As they roll out CBDCs, these are going to have to be tied to a national digital ID.
Let's get another scripture before we start this. Right. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Right. So we're not ignorant of Evil E supposedly being the hero by bringing the National Guard. We know what he's doing is just another form of mischief. Right. He causes the problem, then he brings in the solution. This is nothing new to Evil E.
Private information. As they roll out CBDCs, these are going to have to be tied to a national digital ID that's going to contain private information about every individual, including their credit information and other data. This is coming very, very rapidly.
All they need is a crisis, and the so-called system will transition from voluntary to being mandatory. We saw that in the pandemic. Voluntary. But as things began to progress and they began to use the scare tactics, then it transitioned from being voluntary to being mandatory. It's in a crisis, character is revealed. So what do they need now? Manufacture crises. Everybody is going to be forced into this digital ID CBDC.
Are we ready for a new world order?
As they roll out CBDC.
So as you've seen the lady say, the CBDC legit seems like another word for the incoming sea-hip. And as you've seen the lady say, she said, are you ready for a new world order? They've always been saying that, right? And as you can see, this guy said that
digital ID is going to contain private information about every individual, including their credit information and other data. This is coming very, very rapidly.
All they need.
As you can see, the guy said that this sea-hip technology, which is already out, is coming very rapidly to be forced upon the people, or coerced, right? Because according to the Bible, you know, if with the power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, will save us from the hour of temptation, which is about to come upon the whole world. And the temptation that's about to come upon the whole world is this sea-hip, right? Now, this technology is coming very rapidly. Don't think of this technology as 20 years away, 10 years away. This technology is already here, alright? And don't think that's going to take a long time for this technology to start getting forced, right? All it takes is just a manufactured crisis, right? And you'll start seeing this technology become commonplace, just like with COVID, right? COVID was going on. I believe the pandemic, right, of CV was going on for about a year, and then the measurements, then the measures of CV pandemic being enforced went on all throughout the year. But the restrictions were getting worse and fast. We went from voluntary to mandatory in only a couple of weeks to a few months, right?
It's a crisis, and the so-called system will transition from voluntary to being mandatory. We saw.
So right now we live in a voluntary system. Soon we're going to transition into a mandatory system, right? So the illusion of choice is about to be swept under the rug. Alright? This CHIP system is going to be a mandatory system. Alright? So it's going to be mandatory ways on how you spend your money, mandatory way on how you speak, mandatory way on who you're friends with and who you're not friends with, right? And mandatory if you get the CHIP or not. If you don't get the CHIP, you may get killed, or the Lord may deliver you, and He may just have you placed in a forest or just in the wilderness somewhere away from society until He comes back. For it says in Matthew chapter 26, verse 41, watch, right here, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Right, amen. So we know that during this time when the hour of temptation is come and gone, the flesh is going to be very tempted, right? And don't think of it as, when the CHIP comes abroad, that's just going to be automatically like, here, you take this. First, it's going to be how it was with the CEV, right? You had incentives. You were given a free burger, right? If you took the CV. You were able to get into football games for cheaper if you had the CV, right? You were able to go to concerts for much cheaper if you had the CV. Until it became mandatory, where either you had the CV or you were exited out of it, or you were excommunicated from the system. So with the CHIP, right, we notice how a lot of this technology, also known as beast technology, is coming out. So virtual reality, that's probably going to be huge during the CHIP, right? Technologies you always want to know and see, right? Like SAO, Sword Art Online, virtual reality. With the CHIP, it's going to be all these incentives, and they're going to make it look tempting. And then for those that don't fall for those temptations, they're going to try to force you to take it. But Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, gives us the choice by Spirit if we are chosen to not take it. So,
and to use
this lesson was very edifying. I hope this lesson was very edifying. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and Shalom.
Here tactics